I'd want it to be a resource that would meet the needs of varied parents.
It needs to be something that they can dip in and dip out of.
Nice and straightforward, bullet point.
Vibrant, interesting.
Practical advice, as well as a bit of theory as well.
Not talking down to the parents in any way.
If it's easy to pick up and easy to use, I would refer to it on a regular basis.
One, 2, 3 Magic is a discipline technique for parents with 2 to 12-year-olds. It comes from Dr. Thomas Phelan in America. There's the book, there is also a DVD, and in some parts of the country it can be delivered as a course to parents.
We've got a parents resource and we've got a resource for teachers, and the idea is that you actually adopt a common approach on behaviours, tips and techniques for behaviours for young children, but do it from the home-school partnership perspective.
Mm-hmm. The 1, 2, 3 Magic is a technique whereby you are counting 1, 2, 3 if your child misbehaves. It's more about staying calm, taking out emotion, and not over-talking as a parent. It also looks at other things like family meetings, the importance of putting praise into place for your child.
I certainly think that the whole 1, 2, 3 Magic principle is very strong because it looks at a holistic approach to a family. It can look at how you act in different scenarios, different situations. What's great about the two resources is they really complement each other, and it's a really, really good way in which the parents, the teachers, the child can actually all be getting the same messages and actually apply the same techniques. We've had a number of families where their children are transitioning to secondary school and they're identifying some anxieties which are leading to challenging behaviours. The tools that are provided within these resources are very good tools that can be adopted by parents at that quite tricky transition stage. So the resource, is something that can be used across the board.
£12 for the 1, 2, 3 Magic book is a brilliant. I don't think any parent could question what they would get from the book having paid £12. I think it's really good value for money.
I think 1, 2, 3 Magic is a great idea. It could quite possibly be more appropriate for around times of transition, so perhaps for Year 7 parents.
There were some very good pages in there with the frequently asked questions and the scenarios, but it was a lot of reading. I did find that they were very good in terms of consistency between the school and home. I don't think it suits the secondary environment quite as well as it does with the primary environment.
What put me off about this book really was the Americanese, and it was really the fact that I couldn't hear my own voice within this book.
One thing that I do particularly like about the book is how he uses role-play situations, and from this he then shows how the stress levels rise and how it's been dealt with. The only issue I do have with the book, and it is only a small issue, is I don't believe it deals with the root causes of disruption. For I feel if they are addressed, obviously behaviour is addressed at the same time.
I think this resource is definitely a primary resource. I just can't see in the secondary curriculum many 14-year-olds taking seriously some of the suggestions in here.
I found it more useful as a parent than as an educationalist. In the school I work, I have older children. At home I have younger children, and so I did find a lot of what the book said resonated with my own practice and my own experiences. And I certainly like the sense of humour that the author used. As a self-help book goes, which is basically what it is, I was quite pleased with it.
If you can't think of anywhere else to start, provide an open door for the parents to come and tell you if they've got any problems. We provide an open door once a month from 5:30 till 8:30. Our head teacher is available to see parents, no appointment necessary, and parents come with any sorts of worries or concerns, and I think that is the place you must start by finding out what the parents want. We chose a resource by a company called Alight. It's called Parents as Learners, and it's a website. There are two sections to it. There's the Parents as Learners group. We present it in a 1.5 hour session, and there's individual logins so that parents can do their homework at home. Why I particularly like this resource is because everything is laid out for you. Slides, audio, presentations, and also an excellent overview and timeline of what you're actually presenting. You don't have to create any of the resources yourself. One particular feature I like are the audio clips where you hear parents talking about different problems they might be encountering with helping their own children learn.
I think it's the school's job to teach the children. My wife says I should get more involved. I say my job is to put the bread on the table.
Parents who've come to the sessions have been very, very positive about what we've been doing, and parents who are saying, I never felt empowered before to be able to help my children with their homework.
I'd love to be better at helping my child with their learning, but I don't know where to start.
The website comes in at $295 as an annual subscription for the year, and with that you get unlimited access to all the resources. The reason I'm happy to pay that amount is that the resources are very good. There's a lot on the website, it's easy to navigate, and we are finding that it's really engaging our parents. That alone is worth the money.
I think the content of the website is incredibly well planned. It's really easy to navigate. There's endless resources that I would find really useful working with parents on a daily basis, and also kind of in our evening twilight programme.
One bit in particular that I really did like was about examination preparation, and it said about how they can create an environment in their home which is conducive to their child's preparation, and I did think that was very, very valuable.
I thought it was a very comprehensive resource, and there was a phenomenal amount of information there. Some of the bits were very difficult to unpick, and I think certainly some of the interactive layout was a bit confusing. For example, some of the titles of some of the elements of the modules weren't particularly well presented.
I did think perhaps maybe in terms of time constraint, it may be difficult for parents who are very, very busy and work quite long hours to actually dedicate that amount of time to looking at the website. But I do think the pros definitely outweigh the cons.
I think the fact that it's available for all different languages and doesn't matter what your ethnic background is necessarily, you can still access it. I think that looks good.
Yeah.
I think £390 as an annual subscription for all 5 modules is real value for money. And parents are such an important resource to schools to help students achieve their potential. I think it's great value.
This is a Year 11 assessment monitoring sheet that I've been using with my group. The line represents the student's target grade, and each student has their own target grade. Each piece of homework is represented by a dot according to the grade that they achieved. If their dots are above the line, it means that they are working above their target grade. If they are below the line, it means that they are working below their target grade. The students have found this really, really engaging, and I am going to be using this with the parents at Parents' Evening so that they can visually see how their child is doing, and obviously we can have a look at some strategies that we can put into place to raise their child's attainment.
The resources of the book Climbing Towards Excellence, How to Get the Best for Students at GCSE. The great thing about the book is it looks at getting the best GCSE results through a variety of different themes. So, for example, it looks at the idea of how you can use motivation to get better student results. For the engaging parents, certainly chapters 8 and chapters 12 are very specific because they look at the idea of coursework and how the parents play a role within coursework, and also the revision process. The way that this book gets translated to parents, I believe, has to be through the teacher. It's not really going to be a book that the parents themselves are going to go out and buy. But what the Raising Standards leader in a school will be doing with this is they will be looking at the ideas within it, they will be implementing them within schools, and through that they'll be then getting the parents involved. What I found and what the book clearly demonstrates is that parents want to help their children revise, but the problem is they don't know how to. And that really is the key thing, and this is something the book does look to address. What role do parents have in the revision process? How do they help their children revise? And different motivational strategies and different revision techniques that they can actually encourage at home that the school will also be using, so the message they get at school and the message they get at home are very similar.
I think Climbing Towards Excellence is a fantastic resource, but a fantastic resource for schools. With regards to engaging parents, there's a section on motivation, for example, which might be useful, and a number of other sections too, but I don't think it works well by just offering it as a parental resource.
When I read through this, I thought it was a real easy read, so you can just sort of scan through it. I think there's a lot to take in, and for me personally, I would say it's more a resource for a teacher or even maybe a head teacher.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you, because I looked through it and I thought it was a well laid out, well structured book. Each chapter was focused on a different theme. But if we're talking about engaging parents, it is very teacher focused. Yeah. I think there are definitely some tips that could be taken out of it that parents could look at, but I'm not sure that the ease with which a parent could use it and perhaps engage with it would be as easy as one that a teacher could do.
There was limited information in there with regards to engaging parents directly, but I did see how the ideas presented in there about motivating boys, motivating girls, looking at data, how with sort of liaising with the parents, how that would engage them.
I think that the member of staff that has responsibility for parents in the school can certainly read the book, and it would be a very useful resource, and there are aspects that would help them in their job. The price of the book represents great value for money with regards to creating change in school, but not in terms of engaging parents.
I definitely think this book is value for money. I would definitely be buying a copy of it.